Hello, everybody. Jeff Gibby over at Metastack. I hope you're doing
You're live now, sir.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Jeff Gibby over at Metastack. I hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a good pre-Thanksgiving week, I guess. I don't know. Welcome to the room. We have a good guest today. One of my personal favorites. Let's go ahead and get to the legal disclaimer. Today's demonstration is designed to instruct you on using Metastack and the accompanying software plugins. It is not a recommendation to buy or sell, but rather guidelines to interpreting and using specific indicators and features within the software. The information, software, and techniques presented today should only be used by investors who are aware of the risk inherent in trading. Metastack shall have no liability for any investment decisions based on the use of their software, any trading strategies, or any information provided in connection with the company. So, I'm going to introduce our next guest. Jeff Tompkins has been working with us for almost a year now. In January, we'll have been had his software out for a year. It's been extremely successful. He does a great job. We just had him up at our conference that we do annually, our Metastack Users Conference. He did a great job. He always does a great job, though. It's not a surprise. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring him on the line, have him talk to us a little bit. How are you doing today, Jeff?
Hey, Jeff, I'm well.
Good. I forgot to compliment you on what a lovely first name you have. But
yeah, we should compliment our mothers.
All right. So, how do you see the market just in general as we're getting started today?
Well, it's certainly getting toppy. I think, as you'll see on our session today, there's some indicators flashing sell signals kind of near these all-time highs. So I'm cautious at the moment, and very closely watching major support and resistance levels in the markets to see where our mean reversions are taking place. And I think we're just in a fragile state where it will take one geopolitical event or piece of bad news to really drive things down. So while I remain bullish, I always remain cautious near the all-time high like we are now. So
it's always smart to remain cautious. Well, I'm going to get out of your way. So the floor is yours. We can see your screen. I do need to full screen it on my side, but you're good to go.
Okay, fantastic. Well, you already put up a disclaimer. We'll put up a quick disclaimer of our own. Just letting you know that we will be going through some trade examples together this evening, and nothing is intended to be taken as personal trading or investment advice. So please don't interpret it that way. Some of the results that we show will be live results from live trading examples. And so again, just want to give full disclosure there, and we'll point those out when we get to them. All right, so we got a lot to cover tonight. I'm going to maybe go a little bit faster than I normally do. So if you have a question, I'm not sure if Jeff mentioned, but you can type those questions in the Q&A box if I go over something too quickly, or you want further clarification on anything that we talk about tonight. So I've got a lot to give you guys. The first thing that I'm going to start out talking about is how you can use an indicator that is available on virtually any retail trading platform to predict markets in any time frame, whether you're an intraday day trader or a swing trader or a longer term investor. And I'm going to show you guys the correct way to use this indicator to make money in the markets, how I use it, and how I've actually improved on it to improve in consistency and overall results in the markets. And the cool thing is it tells you exactly when to buy and when to sell. So it eliminates that guesswork that so many of us traders have when we're entering and exiting positions. And you'll be able to, by the time we're done tonight, be able to identify when momentum is shifting and a new trend is starting. And that's really powerful knowledge to have in any trading strategy. And the cool thing is it works for stocks, futures, forex, and options with consistency. So regardless of what market or, again, what time frame you're trading, this will be applicable. Like I said, we'll go over some trade examples, and I'll also be showing you how you can get my trade signals on the house that allow me to predict market trends. So I want you guys to imagine, just put a quick X in the chat box if you were trading at all last year in 2018. So yeah, it looks like we've got several of you that were trading last year, and it certainly was a very volatile market. We saw 4 major market corrections, a lot of volatility, very difficult conditions to trade. So I want you to imagine if you could have actually predicted those 4 major market corrections we saw last year in 2018, and what difference that would have made in your trading. Well, the one momentum indicator we're going to look at together today actually predicted every correction last year. And it also predicted the flash crash of 2015, and it did so ahead of time by an entire day. So it gave us really, really good advanced warning. Not only that, it predicted the 10% correction in October 2014, and it did so 2 weeks before that sell-off took place. It predicted the crash in July 2011, several days before bears began driving prices into the ground. And not only that, it predicted the major sell-off in 2008 when the market lost more than half its value. So I'm not sure how many of you guys were trading all the way back in 08, but I was, and it was a really, really, it really challenged our emotions and our trading psychology, not to mention most people's trading accounts, like I mentioned, predicted all 4 of the major market declines that we saw last year. So let's look at these on a chart of the S&P 500, a daily chart of the SPX. And we'll first start out looking at the one that occurred towards the end of January, into February last year. And you'll see that that was a major sell-off into the 200-day moving average, followed by some sideways price action. And there's the second one in March of last year. Not quite as dramatic as the January, February sell-off, but still a significant mean reversion to the 200-day moving average. Then we go into that nice steady uptrend down the middle of the chart until we hit October of last year. And here we topped out over 2,900 on the S&P, and then we see that major sell-off, this time selling off below the 200-day moving average. We go to that very similar sideways ranging price action that we saw earlier in the year after that first sell-off. And then we see another one there, and that one was probably, I think, the most significant of these. Sorry, give me 1 second. I'm just trying to move some windows on my screen here. There we go. That was the most significant. It almost put us in a bear territory. It was nearly a 20% decline from highs to lows. We sold off there down below 2350. All right, so these were pretty major. So imagine if you could have actually had a warning that these were going to take place, and you could have actually predicted these sell-offs with 100% accuracy. Okay, 100% accuracy, all 4 of them, before they occurred, and either gotten out of the market to protect your capital or implemented a strategy that can actually make money in these sell-offs that we'll talk about tonight. Pretty cool stuff, right? So a little bit about me before we get into this one particular indicator. If you have not seen any of my live or online presentations in the past, I am the chief investment strategist of the Trading Profit LLC. I have 20 years of experience trading the stock, options, and futures markets. I did receive professional training at Morgan Stanley under their trader internship. And about 5 years ago, I founded my company, The Trading Profit, and it's grown dramatically. We are currently over 20,000 members strong across the globe. We have students in, I think we're now over 100 countries. So we have a great following, a lot of successful traders under our wings that we're very proud of. And a lot of these students and traders that come to us ask, why do I trade for a living? Why do I take the time to share my experience and knowledge with others? And the short answer of that is that I really trade to achieve freedom with my time, not just financial freedom, but I want to be able to do what I want with my time. And time is arguably our most valuable asset, more so than even money. But of course, we need money in order to have free time. So that's the reason that I trade. That's what I strive for my students, and that's why I teach my strategies to others to pay it forward and give others the chance to share in the success that I have. And that's not easily achieved, I'll say up front, because Trading is probably one of the most difficult professions out there in terms of making consistent money over the long term. And we have many members that do it, including myself. And I want to help you guys get there because the learning curve is so steep that it can literally take you, like it did me, over a decade to get there. And in the process, go through a lot of trials and tribulations and losing money and all of those things. I also am the founder and creator of the TRADETRENDO signal software. This is what we're going to be looking at together tonight. And again, I'll show you how you can get access to my TRADETRENDO signals if you stay with us to the end of the presentation this evening. And we'll spend about 50 minutes to an hour together tonight. So stay till the end, and I'll show you guys how you can get this this indicator. Okay. So I also get asked pretty frequently, how did I get started in trading? Well, for me, it started with a summer school class. So I believe it was back in the late 80s, early 90s. I took a summer school class, and it was a class on trading and investing. Back then, we didn't have all the access to the internet and all the internet tools that we have today to get information on trading using all these indicators and fundamental data and everything that's now available at our fingertips. It didn't really exist back then. So we typically would use a newspaper like Investor's Business Daily or another financial publication. And I remember in this particular class that the instructor started out on the first day giving us a copy of Investor's Business Daily. And he told us to turn to the quotes page and scan through the quotes and randomly pick out a stock out of the stock quotes. So it was kind of like throwing darts at a dartboard. So I remember in particular, the stock that I picked out at that time was Western Digital Corporation, WDC. And again, I just randomly picked it. I'd heard of it. I grew up down in Silicon Valley, and there's a lot of tech companies down there. So I was familiar with a lot of the tech companies in the area. And I'd heard of Western Digital. So I kind of, just jotted down a piece of paper and followed it each day in the class. And the instructor told us to mark the quotes every day and then graph them, because of course we didn't have all the fancy charting platforms that we have now. So we graphed it out on a piece of graph paper. And I was really amazed at what happened after I picked that stock. The stock went up, and it went up a little bit each day. And I was immediately bitten by the trading bug there, because I thought, wow, this is really easy. I just randomly picked a stock, and it's already going up, and I'm, we didn't invest real money, but I'm already making money here on paper, and I was really excited about that. So the next day in the class, the instructor had us pick out another stock, and then the following day another, until we had built up a portfolio of about 10 or so stocks. And a couple of them did pretty well, and Western Digital kept doing well. But unfortunately, I noticed very quickly that a lot of the stocks were going down. They weren't going up. So when I started out, I thought, wow, this is really easy. And as I continued to pick more stocks out of the quote section of Investor's Business Daily, I realized it's really not that easy, as I started to see a lot of these stocks going down and going down significantly, to the point that they were actually wiping out the gains from my winning picks. So while there were some successes in this whole process, there were many more failures. And that I share that example because although it did get me interested in trading, it also made me quickly realize that it's really not easy. And most people end up wiping out their profits with their losing trades. And if you have a tool that can prevent you from doing that, that's going to put you ahead of 99.9% of other traders out there, certainly retail traders. So by the end of our session, you'll discover how you can use one special indicator that is available for free in any trading platform to help you predict market moves. And again, it works for stocks, options, futures, forex. Anything that trades and produces a chart, you can use this on. And once you learn the correct way to use this indicator, because most people don't use it correctly, or they use it in a way that is very difficult to interpret, I'm going to solve that problem for you tonight. You'll never look at the markets or trading the same way again. And I say that because I have experienced that myself. So first, you're going to discover why momentum is so vital to trading success, how to read momentum shifts and continuations, how to use momentum as a leading indicator, not a lagging indicator. We've all heard that most indicators are lagging, and that's true. So by the time that you use them, although they look great on a chart, they become useless in live trading. And we're going to create an exception to that rule. I'm going to talk to you about how momentum can predict market moves, how to get your hands on a tool that will change your trading forever. And again, you need to stay with us till the end tonight to learn how you can get this really cool trading tool that can actually predict market moves. And then we'll start to get into the momentum indicator here in a second. So I want you to imagine a bowling ball, right? So what does a bowling ball have to do with trading? Well, what it has to do with trading is the momentum aspect of trading. And I use this as an analogy because momentum, even in physics, is very similar to momentum in trading, right? So imagine if you were to bowl or roll a bowling ball down an alley and release the ball from your fingertips. You can predict what's going to happen once the ball releases from your fingers. It's going to roll, and it's going to roll down the alley until something stops it. And so that's a very predictable event. It may roll down the center, it may go down in the gutter, you may get a strike. So there's a number of potential outcomes, but you know that once you exert some degree of force by rolling the ball down the alley, that ball is going to continue to move until something stops it, okay? And in physics, this is what's referred to as linear momentum. So basically, it's the property or tendency of a moving object to continue moving until something stops it. And so that's about as deep as we're going to get into physics. But I want you to keep this example, this analogy in mind, because it does apply to security or stock, options, futures, whatever the security. It applies to the way the markets move in those securities. So when a stock, for instance, moves up or down, it is driven by a catalyst. And that catalyst, just like with the bowling ball, it sets the momentum in motion. It causes the object to move until something stops it. So the difference really here is that the catalyst in the markets, of course, is buying and selling pressure, supply and demand. And so with the bowling ball, of course, it's a physical force of your arm forcing the ball forward down the lane. But keep those ideas in mind, because the reason I used this analogy is that the predictability of momentum. And it's the reason why I use momentum as a fundamental technique in my trading, because it is predictable, and it's one of the few predictable things in the markets. All right, and this is why it's so important. First of all, we need to understand kind of how to calculate momentum on a most basic fundamental level. And it's done by taking price differences. This is for the markets, of course, for a fixed time period compared to current price levels. So that's really the fundamental sort of calculation that is built into all of the momentum indicators that are out there. Generally, a momentum value above zero indicates prices are going up, and below zero indicates prices are moving down. And what this means to you as a trader is that you can actually pinpoint areas where trend reversals are highly likely to occur. But you need to know how to do it. You need to know how to read the indicator in order to actually act on it in live trading. And that's what we're going to talk about together tonight. And although I started out showing you guys the 4 major market corrections of 2018, the cool thing is it doesn't only work for market sell-offs. It actually works when stocks, futures, whatever you're trading go up. And that's a really important thing, because you want to be able to make money on both sides of the market. And this one particular indicator can actually pinpoint turning points in stocks, futures, and forex with astounding accuracy, as I'll show you here on actual charts in just a second. So this chart that we'll start out looking at in the center of the screen is a daily chart of the S&P 500 ETF, the SPY. And you can see down the left side of the chart, we have a pretty steep sell-off. Looked like we topped out around 285 there, reverted to the 200-day moving average around 255 before bouncing off and going to the upside. And so the one indicator that we'll be talking about actually caught this shift in momentum from down back to up and predicted it pretty darn close to the bottom, not quite there at the very bottom, but pretty close, and warned us that there was a shift in momentum that would likely lead to an uptrend. And that's what happened here. So pretty awesome. This doesn't just work for sell-offs, it also works for uptrends as well. Okay, so let's start to drill down into this particular indicator, and then I'll show you guys the best way to use it, how I use it, and how I've actually improved on it as we get further into it. So just for a little bit of background knowledge, if you guys have been trading for a while, you've probably heard of some of these. I would venture to say, over a couple dozen momentum indicators on most retail trading platforms nowadays. So these are some examples of those. One is the average directional movement index. This one can be used to kind of help measure the overall trend in a market. It kind of gives you the trend strength. The commodity channel index is another common one. This is often referred to as the CCI, and it measures the relation between price and normal deviations from a moving average. The next is the MACD. This is a very versatile momentum indicator. It reveals changes in the strength, direction, momentum, and duration of trend in a stock's price. And last but not least is the relative strength index. So this one, often referred to as the RSI, is probably one of the more commonly used momentum indicators. It's often used as an overbought or oversold indicator, but basically it reveals the strength or weakness of a security based on closing prices over a specified period of time. You know, the standard default sightings on that one are 14 days or a 14 period if you're using it intraday. So those are four of the more common ones. And again, all of these have their strengths and weaknesses. There are certainly traders who use these successfully, and there's probably more traders that use them unsuccessfully. Because again, it all comes down to how do you implement these indicators in live trading? How do you interpret what they're telling you? And do you use it with other indicators? Do you use it with some sort of price action or volatility analysis? So there's obviously a lot of variables here that can make these successful or unsuccessful. And I want to help you guys use one of these that is probably, I would say, the best certainly out of these four, but out of all of the couple dozen or so momentum indicators out there. And I want to help you guys use it and improve on it. And that's the MACD. So the moving average, convergence, divergence can actually be used to predict market moves. And why is it predictive and not just lagging? Well, just like I told you in that analogy with the bowling ball, once momentum is set in place, it tends to continue until there's a force or catalyst that stops it and drives it the other direction. But basically, the MACD does a great job at this because it doesn't just reveal momentum, but it also reveals the strength of the momentum, the direction of the momentum, and the duration of the momentum if you know how to read the indicator correctly. So one way that works really well with predicting momentum shifts, you know, the top of a market, the bottom of a market, or continuations within a trend, however you want to use it. There's lots of ways. The MACD cross does that pretty well. And basically a buy signal is given when the MACD line crosses above the signal line, and a sell signal is generated when the MACD line crosses below the signal line. And I just use the default settings here. A lot of times people ask, you know, what settings are you using for your MACD? I just use the standard default settings that are available in the retail trading platforms out there, like Metastock. So how did this do in predicting the 4 market declines last year? So again, this is the chart that we looked at earlier on our session. It's the daily chart of the S&P 500 SPX. And I want to show you, as I plotted the MACD down here at the bottom of the chart, where these crosses occurred in relation to the move, the sell-off. So this first one at the end of January gave us a pretty nice warning. Didn't give us real advanced warning, but it told us as the momentum was shifting that it was starting to turn around and pull back. So it did a pretty good job there. And by the way, the location of these crosses relative to the zero line, how steep the slope of the lines are, and how close the lines are together, all give us valuable information on these. If we have time tonight, I will try to get a little bit into that. We may not have time. So just know that the slope of the line, the relative proximity to the 0 line, and how close or far apart the lines are to each other, all are significant in predicting these momentum shifts. So this one in March, again, didn't get it at the top, but it got it kind of midway down there, still not too bad. This one was a little harder to see. The lines are very close together, still above the 0 line. Actually did give us more of a warning here about a week before this sell-off in October. So almost called the top there and gave us a good warning. This last one in December took place below the 0 line, much more dramatic, steeper sell-off. Went down below minus 60 there on the signal line and gave us pretty good warning again about 4 days into that after it topped out at 2,800. So pretty accurate, right? Pretty good. But what's cool is I'm going to show you guys how you can do even better than this in just a minute. First, before I do that, I want to give you another little trick. So one problem with the MACD, like we just looked at on that chart, in that one of those sell-offs, is when the lines are very close together, and even when they're not, even when they're crossing in the midst of a cross, they can be very difficult to interpret in live trading. It can be very difficult. It's easy to look back on the indicator and say, oh yeah, that's obviously a cross. But when it's happening in real time, that becomes very difficult. And so there's a much easier way to interpret this indicator for its predictive qualities. And instead of using the MACD lines, this is also generally available on most retail trading platforms, and that's the MACD histogram. So the histogram basically tells us to go short or get out of a stock if we're long a stock, or basically tells us that momentum or trend might be shifting to the downside when it goes from red, and so we would sell. And then when it goes from red to green, we would then re-enter or buy or execute some sort of bullish strategy. All right, so look how much easier that is to read versus the lines, where we have to really do a lot of interpretation. And with the histogram, it tells us whether to sell or buy, and it also tells us the strength of the momentum based on the height of the line. So if the lines are getting longer, the momentum is getting stronger. If they're getting shorter, the momentum is weakening, and we may see a shift. And it's a guarantee. That's one of the few guarantees in trading. You're always going to go from a green to red and a red to green. Okay, it cannot. There's no other way for it to happen. So while that doesn't mean every trade is going to be a winner, it means that your degree of accuracy can go way up. And again, I'm going to show you guys how you can even take this a step further beyond just the MACD histogram in just a minute. But let's take a look at it in action. So this is a daily chart of Momo, and you can see the histogram there at the bottom went from red to green, and we get the buy signal. And then we go on to that nice uptrend, and the histogram remains green until a few weeks later, and it goes from green to red, and we see that the stock has kind of gone a little bit sideways there and then pulled back for a few days. We get the sell signal telling us now's a good time to get out and take profits, until only a few days later, the momentum shifts back to the upside. We get a red to green, and we get a buy signal. And there you go. We're off to the races again. The trend has resumed, and we get a nice move upwards over the next couple of weeks until we get another sell signal and a pullback over the course of a few days. This one a little bit more significant, from around $35 down to 30, before giving us another signal to go long, red to green, and a resumption of the uptrend. So this is the histogram in action. It shows how easy it is to read, and it's much, much easier than using the two lines in live trading. All right, and so now we're going to improve on this indicator even more. One way to do that is to use buy stop and sell stop orders to confirm momentum direction. So what I do is I use a buy stop order to enter long trades and a sell stop order to enter short trades. And basically what you're doing is you're putting your buy stop above the buy signal and your sell stop below the low of the sell signal. And what this does is this helps weed out, filter out false signals and improve the consistency and profitability of the signals. Okay, so That all sounds great, right? Now here's the catch. Before I show you how we're going to improve on this, we need to know that momentum indicators do need to be used correctly. There isn't an incorrect way to use them. And what often happens is traders will look at these on a chart, like I mentioned earlier, and see, oh, wow, how easy this is. But unfortunately, there's 100 other things that can get in the way when you actually go to place a live trade. We have emotions, psychology, other psychological factors, technical factors, issues with internet connection, computers, you name it. There's about 100 things that can get in the way of that trade being successful beyond being able to look at an indicator on a chart. So if momentum indicators were easy to use and work correctly every time, we'd all be successful traders, right? So obviously, it goes without saying that that it's just not that simple. And for me, I spent more than 10 years and 1,000 hours of trying to figure out which one to use and when to use it and how to use it effectively. That's how much time and effort I spent on it. That's how steep the learning curve is and how difficult it really is. And most people won't tell you that, but it is very difficult. So once I finally got it dialed in, I actually had to formulate these to work on all time frames and duplicate the success across all markets. So one indicator by itself, like the MACD, while it does work quite well, in order to really get it dialed in and really improve the accuracy and use this as a predictive tool, I had to formulate another algorithm using a variety of momentum indicators, okay, that actually does better than the MACD. Because the problem with momentum indicators alone is, like we talked about just a minute ago, they're either hard to read, they give you false readings, or they're lagging, or they even stop working when you really need them to work because market conditions change. But when you use them correctly, you will never trade without them again. And when you have the best tool that actually predicts momentum shifts out there, and that's what we're going to get into here in just a second, then you'll never trade without it because you'll see how well it works. So when you formulate the right combination of momentum indicators like I've discovered and combine them with volatility studies and price action setups, you can actually do a lot better than the MACD by itself. And I'm going to show you that here in just a minute. So what we've developed is, in partnership with Metastock, is the trade trend signal software. And this is an add-on to Metastock that actually gets you in before the MACD signal most of the time. It's our proprietary blend of momentum indicators, and it produces near instant profits using techniques like the buy stop and sell stop order. It predicts short-term and long-term trends with astounding accuracy. So again, whether you're trading on a short-term 5-minute chart or a long-term daily or weekly chart, it does an astounding job, as we'll look at here in a second, at pinpointing the beginning of trends. Now, most indicators out there only work on very specific markets, very specific time frames. So if you can find something that works with stocks, futures, and forex, and be able to screen for those trades in seconds in any time frame, that's a huge value. And not only that, you can backtest to see the results before you place a trade. And if you're an options trader, you can use this tool to supercharge your option strategies. We have a lot of students and members that come to us. They're options traders. They've, unfortunately lost large amounts of money trying on their own, and they use our tool. And a lot of them are able to simplify their strategies. They'll come in trading very complex multi-leg strategies like iron condors, butterflies, calendar spreads, and they'll simply start buying calls and puts based on the signals, and their consistency and accuracy goes through the roof. So this tool, Trade Trend, the add-on for Metastock, ultimately allows you to trade like a pro without guesswork involved. It gives you the entries, it gives you the trailing stops, it gives you the exits, it gives you everything that you need to be successful in the markets. And if you stay with us over the next 20 to 30 minutes to the end, I'll show you how you can get 2 complimentary months of Trade Trend to try out. Okay, so as I mentioned, I use Trade Trend, the combination of momentum indicators that I've worked with Metastock on to program that actually adapts to market conditions and gives you accurate signals regardless of what the overall market market's doing. And so I use this in my own live trading, and these are actually screenshots. Okay, guys, these are not hypothetical trades. They're not paper trades. They're live real money that trade on my own, of my own money, in the futures market. And these aren't crazy big positions. These are all one contract trades on the futures market using the trade trend signals, and profit of over $13,000 in a day, over $3,600 in a day, over $4,400 in a day. And sure, it's not 100% accurate. I've got a couple losers in there, but it does a really nice job at keeping me on the right side of the market the majority of the time to make profits like these possible in my own live trading account. All right, let's take a look at the MACD versus trade trend, because I've really emphasized here that the algorithm that's programmed into trade trend that adapts to market conditions and uses a very specific formula to get you in at critical turning points in the market can actually do better than the MACD by itself. So while I don't have that plotted here at the bottom of the chart, if you were taking the buy signal on the MACD or the MACD histogram, this is where it would have got you in on the SPY daily chart. Okay, so obviously not a bad entry considering what happened over the course of the next couple months. But our trade trend members using the trade trend add-on for Metastock were able to get in much earlier. In fact, about a week earlier, closer to the bottom of this retracement in the overall broader context of the uptrend. So let's put this in dollar terms. If you had gotten out right here where the MACD told us to exit, you would have made a profit on either trade. So I'm going to put this in dollar terms for you options traders out there. If you had just simply bought an at-the-money call on the MACD signal over the course of that short trade, you would have made about $335 before commissions and fees on 10 contracts. But our trade members, had they bought 10 contracts at the money, they would have made almost $5,000 on that move, getting out at the exact same place. So that's the value of being able to get in earlier. And trade trend, the add-on for Metastock, does this over and over again. This is another chart of the Direction Small Cap Bull Leveraged ETF. The ticker's TNA on this one. It's one that I really like to trade using trade trend. And you can see that the diamonds tell us, they're what gives us the warning. So a green diamond tells us that a buy setup is pending, that there's a potential to go long. And a red diamond tells us there's a setup to potentially go short. And the arrow is the confirmation that the trade is triggered. But if you look at the accuracy of these diamonds and arrows near tops and bottoms of trends, it really does an incredible job. And over the course of these 6 trades, if you just traded 1,000 shares on these 6 signals, profit would have been nearly $40,000 before commissions and fees. So it really does an incredibly accurate job at finding these shifts in momentum in the markets. Okay, and not only that, it works with options. So again, these are the 4 sell-offs that we looked at in 2018, right? The market corrections. And here's what a great job trade trend did getting these near the top. The MACD alone caught some of these more midway down. Okay, so trade trend did a very nice job at finding these at the top. But not only those, these are a bunch of the other buy and sell signals that occurred last year in 2018 from trade trend on the SPY. Okay, and if you just traded at the money put options on that very last sell-off in December, that's nearly a $10,000 profit on 10 contracts. Okay, so this is what's possible with options for all you options traders out there, that many of our members use trade trend to trade options, to buy calls, buy puts in off of these signals and moves like this that we saw last year. So this is kind of what it looks like in the Metastock platform as an add-on to the Metastock platform. You get the chart, as you see on the right, and you also get a commentary that tells you exactly, and it gives you a warning. This is not something that you have to find out after the fact that you could have been in this great trade. It actually tells you up to 3 bars in advance when the trade is going to occur. So you know the price up to 3 bars ahead of time. So if you're trading a daily chart, you know up to 3 days ahead of time exactly what price to get into this trade, whether it's a long trade or a short trade. And so it gives you that price, as you can see on the left. And on the right, on the chart, it gives you the diamonds and arrows. So it helps you visualize it. And I just randomly picked one of the trades out of the center here. This is on Micron on the daily chart. And there was a buy signal there kind of in the middle of the chart. That's the one that you see in the commentary on the left for July 5th. Told us to get in at 53.32. And we rode this one up just right until where it told us to get out near the top of that trend for about 2 weeks or so, maybe a little less. All right, but a profit on this one trade on 1,000 shares traded is over $3,500. And you can see how many signals are on the chart and how accurate those signals are. Oops, sorry about that. So what I did is I just took the last 5 signals from 2018 because it was so volatile. It actually encompasses that October and December sell-off. And I just took the last 5 signals that TRADETREND found on Micron on the daily chart. And rather than cherry pick that one out of the center, I just gave the last 5 that occurred of 2018. And there was one little loser in there. But if you just traded the stock on those last 5 signals, over a $13,500 profit on 1,000 shares traded. And if you're an options trader, if you had bought calls or puts on those same signals, you could have obviously put up a lot less capital and profited nearly $7,000 on 10 contracts traded. So again, TRADETREND works in all markets. It works in all time frames, and it works on any size account. And you may have seen other signal softwares out there. I'm sure you've seen other add-ons and trading softwares out there, but not like this. Nothing that actually predicts a move up to 3 bars in advance. And here's some more examples. This is the flash crash, May 6, 2010. Okay, there was the sell warning from TRADETREND. So again, guys, we're going back 9 years here. This is something that's worked decades in the past and will keep working decades into the future. There's the sell warning, right near there, near the top, and there's the major sell-off. Okay, guys, flash crash of 2010. This is the flash crash, the more recent one on August 24th, 2015. There's the sell signal, the trigger, and the sell-off. All right, it caught that thing practically near the top and warned us. I mean, imagine the money you could make on that by buying puts or shorting futures or stocks. What TRADETREND does is not only allow us to profit in the markets, but it also allows us to protect our portfolio. This is a chart of the 2008 recession, the mortgage crisis, right? You guys remember that? TRADETREND told us all the way down during this sell-off where the market lost 50% of its value, right? Look there near the top, it's around 1,500 on the left side of the chart, down to 700. Okay, lost more than 50% of its value over the course of the year into 2008. And TRADETREND gave us the sell signals all the way down. Okay, so that's accuracy right there. It also told us when to get out as the market was flattening out. So some people that are buy and hold investors will use this tool to go to cash. They'll sell their investments, take profits, and go to cash. But not only that, you can cash in on these signals. This is the .com bubble from 99 to 2001. And these are the sell signals from TRADETREND. On the left side of the chart, it actually gave us a really good buy signal. As you see, the trailing stop lines, the green dots trailed up, gave us a good long trade there. But as more people were taking advantage of that uptrend and getting greedy and buying into it, TRADETREND was telling us there at the top to be careful and get out. And there's the red arrow. And the sell-off begins. It told us on both tops in that downtrend to go to cash or cash in by buying puts or shorting the market. And there's the sell-off in the .com bubble. So we're going back 20 years ago, and these signals were still accurate, and they'll continue to be accurate 20 years into the future. But 99% of signal softwares operate on static algorithms. Therefore, most don't work consistently. TRADETREND is one of the only adaptive signal softwares available today that works consistently. It has decades in the past and will decades into the future. And here's more live proof from my real money trading account using TRADETREND to trade the futures markets of what's possible. All right, not hypothetical, real live money here. one contract per position, only one contract off the daily chart. So here's my promise to you. I want to help you guys have days just like these, and I'm going to give you access to a tool here in just a second that lets you copy my trades. So these are all trades that I actually, or a tool that I actually use on my own to make my own trading decisions, and you'll have the ability to do that, and it's going to cut your learning curve dramatically. So I want to ask you guys tonight to join me to discover how I make consistent income in the markets day after day, week after week. And I'll reveal every one of my special techniques and indicators that make profits like this possible. I don't hold anything back. I teach you guys all the inner workings of my options, futures, and stock strategies. And I also give you access to the MetaStock add-on trade trend. So here's everything you get. You get live trade sessions. So not only are you guys going to get to try out my trade trend indicator, I'm going to give you access to all of our live sessions that we hold a few times per month, where I actually use this in the markets, and I show you guys how I do it. You get members area access for replays and recorded training sessions. You get personal coaching from me on our live webinars. I'm actually the one that teaches the webinars. And you also get invitation-only access to our Facebook group. We have over 500 members in our group that interact on a daily basis and share ideas in our forum. You get trade adjustments to fix losing trades. You get the signals for stocks, futures, and the forex markets. And again, you can use those on whatever time frame you choose to trade. And I also give you guys a list of my most profitable tickers to trade in our members area. So I want to ask you guys, as we approach the end of our session tonight, if you're able to avoid the next major market crash and even make money from it, how much would that be worth to you? Or if you were able to trade the next market sell-off like a professional, how much would that be worth to you? Finally, if you had an experienced coach guide you through the next downturn, how much would that be worth to you? Well, that's the beauty of Trade Trend on MetaStock, is it helps you cut the learning curve and trade like a pro, and you can start as early as tomorrow. And Jeff is going to tell you here in just a minute how you can do that. So I'm going to throw in a quick guarantee if you decide to try out risk-free my MetaStock add-on Trade Trend this evening. And that is, if you don't make money in the first 60 days, I'm going to give you guys another 60 days out of my pocket of the signals at no cost. That's how confident I am in them and how much I know that you'll enjoy them. Here's what some of our other members are saying. Jay Thomas says, very impressive results. Well done. Thanks for helping us little guys with small accounts who dream of growing our accounts over time and reaping the benefits of consistent monthly income. Frank says, how refreshing to have someone produce a product that does what it says. I thought it was too good to be true, but you've proven me wrong. Chris says, first of all, I want to thank you for providing such a first-class service. It's really the only one that delivers on promise. I've tried a few. After having demo traded for nearly 2 months, I'm now happy to go live. And Alan says, I've been involved with lots of software testing. TradeTrend seems to do exactly as it says, and I can find some very nice setups. And Craig says, my first trade paid for the entire package. Nothing ever works for me this fast. I wish I would have found you guys last year before all the market dips. We'll end with my favorite quote. The secret to getting ahead is getting started. Mark Twain said that, and really no truer words have been spoken. You can't get anywhere if you don't actually do anything. So I really invite you guys to try out the Signal software, try out Trade Trend on MetaStock for yourselves, see how well it works, and see how well it does in improving your consistency in predicting market trends. So again, you get in before the MACD signal most of the time. You get the proprietary blended momentum indicators that adapt to market conditions, and you get a tool that helps you predict short-term and long-term trends with astounding accuracy. It works on any market, any time frame. You can back test it in the MetaStock platform to see how well it works before you even place a trade. You can use it to supercharge your option strategies, and you can trade like a pro with no guesswork. So in just a second here, I'm going to open it up to Q&A. And I'll pass it back over to Jeff as well, so that he can start giving you some information on how you can get 2 complimentary months of Trade Trend on us. And in the meantime, we'll see if any questions come through, and I'd be happy to answer this. So Jeff, I'll pass it back over to you. And if we don't get to your questions, or if for any reason you come up with a question after we sign off our session tonight, you can always email us at support@thetradingprofit.com or give us a call at 800-895-9348.
All right, Jeff. Good job. Number one. Number two, we did have a question a little bit earlier about from our YouTube channel from Stocks. He wanted to know if it would work in day trading because he's a day trader.
Yeah, we have a lot of members who use TradeTrend to day trade, all the way down to tick charts, and certainly all the other time frames: 1 minute, 2 minute, 5 minute, 30 minute, 15, 60, whatever time frame. Because it is an adaptive algorithm, it is based on momentum. Momentum shifts occur on every time frame. They just play out over different intervals, and so I actually don't have the platform up, but if I did, I could pull up some intraday charts and show you. But basically, you're going to get the same accurate signals on an intraday chart with the diamonds and arrows that you would get on a daily chart. You're just going to get more trades because we are on shorter term candles. You're going to get more trade setups the shorter the time frame you go versus daily or weekly.
Yeah, we have a number of customers that use it with real time, and it'll work just fine on an intraday basis. So, and if you have the other thing is, Mr. Stocks, if I can call you that, if you're interested in looking at specific intraday charts, get in touch with us and we will send you charts. We'll send you whatever charts you want and whatever increment you want. So we're happy to do that for you. And I'll show you exactly how to get in touch with us to do that. It's just, we're happy to send anything you want to see. The other question we had was Thomas was asking what the cost is. And so we'll just jump straight to that. The normal cost for TradeTrend is just $90 per month. Or $9.72 a year. If you prepay it for the year, you get a bit of a discount. As Jeff alluded to earlier, you get 2 months free with that subscription. So if you pay $90, you're basically going to get 3 months. You're going to break down that monthly cost to $30 per month for the first 3 months for your evaluation period. That's going to give you plenty of time to get the signals from Jeff, to join the Facebook group, to look at things. And like Jeff said, if you're going to be happy, but if you don't make money, he's going to extend that out another 2 months.
Just a little note, the website you've got on your page is not correct. It should say TradeTrend 341.
Oh, I did change that too. Just a real quick edit right here.
I did put that in the YouTube chat.
Look, it's correct. It just didn't refresh in real time. Let's see.
Technology.
Well, we learned something new today as well. So let's go ahead, and now it is correct. So $90 for the first 3 months. That'll include the Jeff Tompkins training courses. If you need access to Metastock, I'll tell you a little bit about Metastock, not too much because this isn't a webinar about Metastock, but the one thing I will tell you, it's been rated #1 in its price category 25 years in a row. So if you need, if you want to get, if you don't have access to Metastock, you should try it. There's a reason it's been rated so highly. With that, if you need help with installation, we'll help you install the Metastock program and the Tompkins program. We'll give you some training classes to help you get up to speed with it. And all of that can be had for basically 90 days for $90. So basically about $30 per month. I know we're coming up on the holidays. You're going to have a lot of people are going to have a lot of time off. What a good time to actually invest in looking at the market, right? So, and this, if you pay $90, December, January, February 2020 is when you're going to be looking at renewing that subscription. You're going to have lots of time. January is typically a great month to trade. It's time to get active. So give us a call or go online, metastock.com/TradeTrend3for1. Give us a call at 800-882-3040. Or if you have questions, or you want to see a chart, Mr. Stocks, metastock.com/sales chat. So anyway, that's what I had. Jeff, any final thoughts?
Yeah, I'll just kind of chime in on the Metastock platform side and just let everybody know that's on. I use the platform, the Metastock platform myself for charting because not just for charting, it has so many other functions and tools. And I place my trades through TD Ameritrade. That's the broker that I use. But I use the Metastock platform for my trade trend signals because I really like all the extra tools and robustness of their backtesting, feature, their scanner, and some of the other really cool things that are built into the platform that just simply are not available on a lot of the broker platforms. And even though I place my trades through Thinkorswim, which is an award-winning trading software offered by GD Ameritrade, frankly, the back testing, the scanner, some of the other functions within Metastock are much better and give you a lot more information than Thinkorswim does. And so for that reason, not to mention the commentary that comes along with every signal, which you cannot get on any broker platform, all are great selling points of the Metastock platform. And the reason that I personally use it to select my trades and then enter them into my broker platform. So just wanted to kind of throw you guys a little bone there and let you know that it really is a great platform.
Well, we appreciate that. It's a great add-on too. So, in any case, we don't have any webinars scheduled next week. I hope you guys all enjoy your Thanksgiving. Thanks, Jeff. Appreciate it.
All right, thanks, guys. Have a great Thanksgiving.
Thanks for coming, everybody. The website again is metastock.com/tradetrend3for1, and I look forward to seeing you after Thanksgiving.